Kerlene Telesford.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Unbeknownst to me, I've been leading or influencing others to some degree long before I came to Andrews. The Lead 101 class I took with Pastor Dave in 2011 revealed what my strengths were, and an astonishing fact: I can be a leader. Yes, introverted, unassuming, quiet little me. You don't have to be extroverted, popular, or talkative to be able to influence others. Just look at Suzanne Cain's TED Talk. She's a leader, and she's an introvert. So am I a leader? Yes. Lesson learned, Pastor Dave. Then came the Lead 200 classes, in which I was challenged to change myself through personal discipline and to influence change in my environment. I was encouraged to try something new in spite of potential failure. One of my projects was time management. Through that experience, I have learned that I work best with a very flexible, rather than rigid, schedule. People who have adaptability as a strength, as I do, need variety. No more detailed timetables for me. All I need is my little planner. Thanks for your guidance during these adventures, Enoch. One of the most memorable times I have had as a leadership student was helping Pastor Dave market the leadership program in my creative problem-solving class. Talk about brainstorming. It was both frustrating and exciting to figure out the best way to help him with the limited amount of time we had. But this opportunity gave me even more experience in working with the team, communicating clearly, and being reliable. After all, I was my team's secretary. I did a good job, and I was quite happy to be in the background while others did the talking. That's the restorative strength for you. I routinely select activities that demand precision and accuracy, like editing. I once edited a Civilizations and Ideas essay for a friend of mine, and he scored an A on it. I was most pleased. If you follow me around for a day, you will probably be able to tell that the following is true. Because of your strengths, you are filled with awe by beauty in the world, in people, and in the cosmos. You can suddenly stop what you are doing to watch a sunset, listen to the rustle of leaves, stand before a work of art, hear a piece of music, look through a telescope, or, my favorite, hold a newborn child. You experience beauty at a level many people cannot imagine. Once the moment has passed, you can still picture the scene or hear the sound in your memory. That description of the empathy strength summarizes what I do almost daily, and would be witnessed when I listened to classical compositions over and over again, or when I volunteered at the Crayon Box in December of last year, or stopped to take pictures of a squirrel just yesterday. The Change Project, though, was the most difficult and probably the most rewarding part of my leadership journey thus far. In 2012, my classmates and I did some translation and interpretation exercises with Professor Navia. I was thrilled to be able to use a headset for the first time. I think this was the point at which I realized that my fellow students would benefit greatly from being able to do these kinds of exercises regularly. I also began thinking seriously about what I needed to do to be ready to enter the workforce as a translator, a really good one. I spoke to my professors about my concerns, and their input, along with some internet research, revealed helpful information that I wanted to share with my classmates. Some of that information is found among my artifacts. All of this reflection became the basis for my Change Project, which is focused on improving the language competency of the Spanish for translation and Spanish for interpretation students here at AU. It took a long time for me to figure out what could actually be accomplished within the stipulated time frame of the Change Project, because there were many ideas I wanted to pursue. Pastor Dave helped me narrow down the list to finding more internship opportunities for my fellow classmates. Ideally, the work would be done for a small fee, but this idea was soon discarded because of the difficulty in setting rates and the inability or unwillingness of the businesses I called to pay students for their work. I was often turned down or did not get a call back. The only success I had in this first trial was an opportunity for students to volunteer at a community service event in September, in association with Mahoney Family Dentistry in South Bend. Not quite what I was aiming for. I felt disappointed. I let Pastor Dave know of the difficulties I was facing, and he suggested a change in perspective. I altered my approach from seeking to receive to seeking to give. That's when the magic happened. People started responding more positively. I made several more calls to local businesses and charities, offering translation and interpretation services for free. Right here in Berrien, Reach International is in need of students who will help bridge the communication gap between Spanish-speaking children and their English-speaking sponsors. Being the sponsor of a Spanish-speaking child myself, I can appreciate the value of knowing what my child is saying. Neighbor to Neighbor would also like to have some more Spanish-speaking volunteers. PMC is another potential internship location. It has been brought to my attention that the church has the necessary equipment for interpretation. Why not put it to use? A little further away from home, there are opportunities to volunteer as interns at the Memorial Hospital of South Bend. Their language services director is willing to interview students who wish to get some practical experience using medical Spanish and incorporate them into her network. The hospital also offers a 16-week medical Spanish training course for bilinguals in both April and October that includes a 16-hour internship at the hospital. This project, and indeed my entire leadership journey, reminded me that I need other people's help, and it taught me how to get that help. Leading well requires humility and dedication. I can assure you, my leadership journey is far from over. Because this program teaches you how to initiate change, I know that it is possible to make my other ideas a reality, even when I am no longer on the campus. In the coming years, I would like to become a professional translator and a mom, and continue to use the strengths I have to serve the less fortunate, wherever I happen to be. Since I have the developer strength, I like to give people credit, so let me do it now. My leadership journey has allowed me to witness the generosity of faculty, staff, friends, and neighbors, including Professor Schultz and Mr. Philip Giddings, who were my mentors. Pastor Dave, Dr. Navia, Enoch, and Mrs. Badenas improved my ability to communicate, listen, and network. Teacher Lily Badstick at the Crayon Box and Professor Larry Ullery's enthusiastic service for others was a great example for me. And of course, a big thank you to my supportive and loving husband, Elijah Smith, my friends and family, who helped me to get where I am today. Thank you for your intentional influence.
Thank you, Kerlene. Ready for a question or two? All right, yes.
Did you ever consider getting the internship kind of combined in the major, so it's kind of like a requirement that it's like a community service thing, so they can get experience without having to look for it outside of like themselves? Kind of get what I'm saying? Like your speech path major, not speech path, Spanish for translation major, adding the internship for free as a requirement.
Yes, that has crossed my mind. In speaking with Dr. Navia, he has indicated that next year the department is aiming to have mandatory internships for all the students so that they can actually have experience while they're still in school.
Well, I know you've been working with your professors. Can you speak to their receptivity to some of the internship possibilities that you're coming up with?
They are quite receptive. Like I said, they were very generous, willing to have basically any opportunity for the students, because it is extremely important to practice your skill, especially when you're learning a foreign language. So they want to help the students keep those skills current.
Very good. Thank you very much, Kerlene.